Ladies and gentlemen,
Success is often painted as a destination full of applause, recognition, and celebration. But the truth is, before the applause comes silence, before recognition comes misunderstanding, and before celebration comes loneliness.
success is a deeply personal journey. And when we talk about the lonely path to success, it means understanding that no matter how many people you have around you, your friends, your family, your partner, there will be moments when you must walk alone. This is not because people don't care, but because they cannot fully see or feel the vision you carry inside. Imagine holding a dream in your heart that only you can see. Others may love you, they may even want to support you, but they will never feel the weight of responsibility you carry, nor will they truly grasp the sacrifices you must make to turn that dream into reality. That is why success at its core becomes a personal responsibility and a journey that no one else can completely take with you. In relationships, this reality can feel harsh. You might think that if someone truly loves you, they will always understand you. But the truth is, even love has limits when it comes to vision. Your partner may not understand why you choose to work late into the night instead of watching a movie together, why you save money for a bigger goal instead of spending it on momentary pleasures, or why you keep refusing social invitations because you are investing your time in building something for the future. To them, it may look like distance, neglect, or even disinterest. To you, it is sacrifice. This difference in perspective creates the loneliness that almost every ambitious person experiences on their journey to success. It is easy to mistake this loneliness as a sign that your relationship is failing or that people don't care. But that is not true. Loneliness in this context is simply the gap between your inner vision and the outside world's ability to understand it. Nobody can fully enter your mind. Nobody can completely share the fire in your heart, and nobody can walk every step for you. And that is why success is a personal journey. It requires you to have the strength to keep going, even when those closest to you cannot see what you see. This loneliness teaches you discipline and resilience. It forces you to answer a tough question. Are you pursuing your dream because it's truly yours, or because you expect others to approve of it? If your dream depends on constant applause, then you will give up the moment you feel misunderstood. But if your dream is truly your own, you will walk forward even when the road is quiet, even when you feel unseen, and even when the people you love do not fully recognize what you are trying to achieve. In relationships, this becomes a test of maturity for both you and your partner. For you, the test is whether you can continue walking alone without holding resentment, without demanding that they understand every sacrifice, and without letting loneliness turn into bitterness. For your partner, the test is whether they can trust you enough to let you walk alone when needed, and whether they can respect your silence when you are carrying the weight of your journey. Love, in this sense, is not about walking side by side every moment. It is about knowing when to let the other walk ahead and still holding space for them when they return. So the lonely path to success is not about rejecting relationships, nor is it about cutting yourself off from love. It is about accepting that true growth requires moments of solitude, where only you can face the struggle, only you can make the decision, and only you can carry the vision forward. It is about realizing that success is deeply personal, and while others may join you in celebrating the result, the process will always demand periods of walking alone. Would you like me to expand the second keynote in the same deep flowing style, also around balancing between love and goals is one of the most challenging parts of the journey to success, and it often determines whether both your vision and your relationships survive. Many people believe that chasing success means sacrificing relationships entirely, while others think that maintaining love means compromising dreams. The truth lies somewhere in between. Love is important. Success is important, but the ability to hold both in balance is what defines not just achievement, but also happiness. When we commit to a relationship, we make a promise of presence, of care, and of attention. At the same time, when we commit to a goal, we make a promise of discipline, of sacrifice, and of dedication. The struggle begins when these two promises collide. You might want to spend more time with your partner, but your schedule demands that you study late into the night, attend endless meetings, or invest long hours in building your craft. You might want to enjoy a holiday, but your savings are tied up in your business or personal projects. For your partner, these choices may sometimes feel like rejection. For you, they are necessary steps toward building a future where both of you can enjoy stability, comfort, and pride. This difference in perspective can create friction, but it is in managing this friction that maturity is born. Balancing love and goals requires honest communication. If you only chase success without explaining your vision to your partner, they will see your absence as neglect. If you only focus on love without prioritizing your dreams, you will eventually feel regret, frustration, and even resentment. Neither extreme can sustain a healthy relationship. The key is to make your partner a part of your vision, not necessarily in the work itself, but in the understanding of why the work matters. When they see that your sacrifices are not against them, but for a future that includes them, they can support you with patience. At the same time, balance means you cannot let success consume every part of your life. What is the point of achieving wealth, recognition, or influence if in the process you lose the person who believed in you at the start? Too many people chase their goals so blindly that they wake up one day successful but alone. This is why discipline in relationships is just as important as discipline in work. It is not about the quantity of time you give, but the quality. A single hour of genuine presence, listening, and connection can sometimes mean more than an entire day of distracted company. Another important part of balance is patience. Success takes years, sometimes decades. Relationships also evolve with time. There will be seasons where love demands more of you, when your partner feels insecure, when your family needs support, when health or circumstances require you to slow down. There will also be seasons when your goals demand almost everything you have. The art of balance lies in shifting your energy according to the season, without completely abandoning one for the other. True love, when it exists, does not compete with your goals. It aligns with them. The right partner does not stop you from working hard. They remind you to rest when you forget. They don't demand all your attention. They value the attention you give sincerely. In turn, your responsibility is not to use love as an excuse for laziness or as a safety net, but to respect it by growing into someone worthy of the patience and trust given to you. Balancing love and goals is not easy. It will test your priorities, your discipline, and your ability to see beyond the moment. But when done with wisdom, it creates a powerful foundation. A life where success is not just measured in achievements, but also in the strength of the relationships that walk beside it. Do you want me to expand the third keynote, understanding versus approval, also into 600 words so it flows like a complete series? Understanding and approval are two very different things, yet most people confuse them in relationships, especially when success becomes the focus. We often expect our partners, family, or friends to not only support us, but also to fully understand every step of our journey. The truth is, they may never completely understand, and that is not a sign of lack of love. It is simply the reality that no two people can ever fully see life through the same eyes. When you pursue success, your experiences, your risks, and your sacrifices are unique to you. Others may care deeply for you, but their perspective will always be shaped by their own fears, priorities, and values. That is why chasing constant approval is dangerous. It leads to disappointment, arguments, and unnecessary emotional strain. What you should seek instead is respect, because respect allows relationships to thrive even without perfect understanding. Think about it this way. Your partner might not understand why you turn down social events to work late. Your family might not understand why you invest money into something risky instead of saving it. Your friends might not understand why you no longer have time for casual hangouts. If you expect them to approve of every choice you make, you will always feel disappointed. But if you shift your perspective and simply ask for their respect, for them to accept that your journey matters to you, even if they don't fully see the picture, you create room for harmony. Respect builds trust, while the demand for constant approval only creates pressure. It is natural for people to seek validation. We are human, And we want those we love to say, I see what you're doing and I'm proud of you. And when that happens, it feels encouraging. But the danger is when we become dependent on it. Because the truth is, sometimes your path will look reckless to others. Sometimes it will look selfish. Sometimes it will even look foolish. If your confidence is built only on others approving your steps, then you will abandon your path the moment criticism appears. That is why strength lies in accepting that people may not always understand and still moving forward. This principle is especially important in relationships. Many arguments between couples happen not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of understanding. One partner feels the other is too busy, too absent, or too obsessed with work. The one chasing success feels misunderstood, even unappreciated. The balance comes when both partners learn that complete understanding is not always possible. What is possible, however, is patience, communication, and respect. If you explain your reasons with honesty and your partner respects your commitment, love can survive the gap between their perception and your vision. On the other hand, if you demand total approval, you may start resenting them when they question you. And they may start resenting you for not being present enough. Approval should be seen as a gift, not a requirement. When it comes, appreciate it. When it doesn't, don't let it derail your focus.
The strongest relationships are not those where both partners agree on everything. They are those where both partners respect each other's paths, even when they don't fully understand them. Success may take you on a road where your loved ones cannot always walk beside you. They may not see the struggles you face in silence, the risks you calculate late at night, or the doubts you fight within yourself. But if they trust you enough to let you walk, and if you care enough to keep them close with honest communication, then understanding becomes secondary. What matters most is respect.
So remember this, you don't need everyone's approval to succeed. What you truly need is the discipline to move forward even when misunderstood, and the wisdom to maintain love through respect rather than demanding perfect understanding.
Loneliness is often seen as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. But when it comes to the path of success, loneliness is one of the greatest teachers. It is in the quiet moments, when no one is watching and no one is applauding, that strength is built. Success demands sacrifice, and sacrifice often creates distance. You spend long nights working instead of relaxing, you choose discipline over distraction, and you dedicate yourself to a vision that others cannot see. This journey naturally isolates you at times, not because people abandon you, but because the weight you carry is uniquely yours. That loneliness, though painful, becomes the soil where resilience grows.
In relationships, loneliness tests the bond between two people. When one partner is chasing a dream, the other may feel left behind. There will be evenings where your partner sits alone because you are buried in your work. There will be moments where your family wonders why you are absent at gatherings. There will be friends who drift away because you no longer fit their pace of life. These experiences create a sense of isolation, and many people interpret it as rejection. But the truth is, loneliness on the path to success is not rejection, it is refinement. It reveals who truly understands commitment, and it strengthens the bonds that are built on patience and trust rather than constant presence. The value of loneliness is that it strips away dependency. When you are surrounded by support, it is easy to feel motivated. But what happens when that support is missing? When you keep walking despite the silence, you learn to depend on your own inner fire. This inner strength is what carries you through the hardest seasons, and it is also what makes you a better partner in the long run. A person who has faced loneliness with courage is less needy, less fragile, and more capable of offering genuine love because they no longer require constant reassurance. They know how to stand on their own, and that independence becomes an asset in relationships. For your partner, loneliness also serves as a test. Do they have the patience to stand by you when they don't always get your time? Can they trust your absence without assuming disinterest? Can they love you enough to let you grow, even if it means feeling alone sometimes? These are not easy questions, and not every relationship survives them. Some fade away when loneliness enters, because the bond was based on convenience. But the ones that endure grow stronger than before, because they prove that love is not about constant closeness, it is about enduring connection. Loneliness also gives clarity. When you are alone, you reflect more deeply. You see who matters most, who stands by you in silence, and who only wanted to share the spotlight. It teaches you to value quality over quantity in relationships. One person who believes in you quietly is worth more than 100 who cheer when it is convenient. That realization shapes the way you build your circle, your partnerships, and even your vision of family. The path of success will inevitably feel lonely at times, but that loneliness should not discourage you. Instead, embrace it as part of the process. Every hour spent alone sharpening your skills, every sacrifice that distances you temporarily from others, and every moment of silence that feels heavy is actually preparing you for a future where you can stand strong. And when you finally reach the point of recognition, those who endured the loneliness with you will be there to celebrate, not because they needed constant proof, but because they trusted the journey. So remember this, loneliness is not the enemy of relationships. It is their testing ground. It is not the end of love, but the fire that purifies it. And above all, it is not weakness. It is the hidden strength that transforms both your success and your capacity to love. On the path to success, communication is the invisible bridge that keeps relationships alive. Many people think that love alone is enough, that if two people truly care for each other, everything else will fall into place. But the reality is, even the strongest love can wither in silence. Success demands your time, your energy, and your focus. Relationships demand your attention, your reassurance, and your presence. The balance between these two is almost impossible to maintain without clear, honest, and consistent communication.
When you are chasing a dream, your partner may not always understand the reasons behind your sacrifices. They may see only the absence, missed dinners, shorter conversations, fewer shared moments. Without communication, absence looks like neglect, and neglect feels like rejection. That is how many relationships collapse under the weight of ambition. But with communication, absence can be reframed as sacrifice. And sacrifice can be understood as love in a different form. A simple message, a heartfelt explanation, or a reminder that I'm doing this for us, not away from us, can shift an entire perspective.
Communication does not mean lengthy speeches or constant updates. It means sincerity. It means being transparent about your struggles, your goals, and your fears. Too often people hide behind the excuse of being busy and leave their partners guessing. Guesswork breeds insecurity, and insecurity breeds distance. But when you share, even briefly, the reality of your journey, you turn loneliness into something shared rather than something endured alone. Your partner may not walk the exact road you're on, but through your words they can at least see the road from a distance. That glimpse is often enough to create patience and trust. Communication also requires listening. Success can make a person self-absorbed, so focused on their vision that they forget their partner has needs too. Just as you want to be understood for your sacrifices, your partner wants to be understood for their feelings. They may not demand that you give up your dream, but they may need to express the pain of missing you, the difficulty of waiting, or the fear of losing connection. Listening to these feelings without defensiveness is an act of love. It does not weaken your focus. It strengthens the foundation on which your relationship rests. In long journeys, communication becomes the tool that turns potential cracks into opportunities for growth. Every argument is a sign of care. People only fight when they want to be heard. Instead of avoiding these conflicts, use them to understand your partner more deeply. Explain your perspective without arrogance, and hear theirs without judgment. Success built at the cost of broken communication is hollow, because what use is victory if the voices that once encouraged you grow silent in bitterness? The most beautiful thing about communication is that it doesn't take much. A short call in the middle of a busy day, a handwritten note left behind, a message before sleep, or even an honest, "I know I haven't given you enough time, but I see you and I love you." These small acts carry enormous weight. They remind your partner that while the journey may be lonely, they are not forgotten. Ultimately, communication is not a task. It is a form of respect. It says, "You matter enough for me to let you into my world, even if I cannot be fully present." On the lonely path to success, communication keeps love alive, trust strong, and hearts connected. It does not erase the loneliness, but it makes it bearable. And more importantly, it transforms the journey from one of isolation into one of shared resilience, where both success and love can stand side by side. At the end of every journey to success, after the long nights of sacrifice and the countless moments of loneliness, there comes a moment when you finally taste achievement. The applause may come, the recognition may arrive, the financial rewards may flow in, and for a brief while, it feels like everything was worth it. But once the noise fades and the celebrations quiet down, an important truth begins to surface. Success means very little if you have no one to share it with. The human heart was not built only for achievement. It was built for connection. Without love, without companionship, without relationships that matter, success becomes an empty crown resting on a weary head. Too many people push love aside in their hunger for greatness, telling themselves they will come back to it later once they make it. They sacrifice every relationship, believing that the world will wait for them. But when they finally arrive at their destination, they discover they are standing alone, holding a trophy that cannot speak, cannot listen, and cannot give comfort in the quiet hours of the night. The greatest irony of success is that while it can buy recognition, it cannot buy genuine love. The moments that truly matter, sharing a meal, laughing over small things, having someone who listens when the day has been heavy, those cannot be replaced by wealth or status. This is why nurturing relationships along the way is just as important as chasing your goals. The lonely path to success does not have to end in permanent loneliness. You can walk through solitude, endure the sacrifices, and still keep love alive by remembering that success is not the only prize worth holding on to. Love is not the enemy of ambition. It is the companion that makes ambition meaningful. What good is reaching the top if you look around and find no familiar hand to hold, no voice to celebrate with, no heart to rest in when the weight of the world feels too heavy? When you have someone to share success with, the victories feel richer and the struggles lighter. Every sacrifice becomes part of a story you built together. Every difficult season becomes a memory of resilience, not isolation. Even the loneliness along the way takes on a different meaning. It is no longer just your own silence, but a silence endured together with understanding and trust. That is why, even while walking the lonely road, you must never forget to look back and see if the people you care about are still walking near enough to catch up when you pause. Companionship also gives perspective. In the pursuit of success, it is easy to become obsessed with numbers, titles, or achievements. But the presence of a loved one reminds you of what truly matters. They anchor you, reminding you that life is not measured only by milestones, but also by the small, shared moments that bring joy. They keep you human in a world that often dehumanizes ambition. And in return, it is your responsibility to protect that companionship, to not let your vision blind you to the very love that makes the journey worthwhile. At the end of the day, success is not just about building wealth, fame, or recognition. It is about building a life that feels complete. And completeness does not come from the outside world. It comes from the people you hold close, the relationships you honor, and the love that remains standing after the battles are won. Without that, even the greatest success feels hollow. With it, even modest achievements feel like victories of the highest kind. Success shared is success multiplied, and love is the multiplier that gives meaning to every step of the journey. The lonely path to success is not simply about chasing goals or enduring silence. It is about discovering who you truly are and what truly matters. Along the way, you learn that success is personal, that balance between love and goals is necessary, that respect is more important than constant approval, and that loneliness, instead of breaking you, builds strength. You learn that communication is the bridge that keeps love alive even when distance grows, and that at the end of it all, success holds little meaning without someone to share it with. Relationships are not obstacles to success. They are part of the reason for it. Love does not weaken ambition. It gives ambition purpose. The lonely path will test you. It will test your patience, and it will test your relationships. Some bonds will fade, but the ones that survive will shine brighter than ever. And when you finally stand at the finish line, the greatest reward will not just be the success you built, but the love that endured the journey with you. So remember this: walk your path with courage. Embrace the loneliness as your teacher. But never forget to nurture the hearts that walk beside you. Because true success is not only about reaching the top, it is about having someone's hand to hold when you get there.